I'm Maggie, this is 9 a.m. and this is my persuasive speech. Every year since 2009, prescription drug misuse has killed more people each year than automobile accidents, according to an article published on The Guardian's website in 2011. This increase could be due to many factors, and this ad put out by Health Impact News seems to think that doctors are to blame, but today I'm going to talk about why I think direct-to-consumer pharmaceutical advertising has led to America's overuse of prescription drugs. I therefore think that the U.S. government should ban direct-to-consumer pharmaceutical advertising in an effort to mediate the detriment that this has on public health. According to the Harvard Health website in 2011, while we make up only 5% of the world's population, we consume 42% of the world's pharmaceuticals. This is likely due to an attitude that both doctors and patients have assumed here in the United States that we want a quick and easy fix, a pill that we can take that gets rid of our symptoms and only minorly affects our daily lives. We can see in this chart that the United States spends considerably more than any other country on pharmaceuticals. The National Center for Health Statistics in 2015 reported that there's been a 70% increase in the past 2 decades in American usage of pharmaceuticals. We can see by this trend line that it is continuing to go up, and soon enough, in 2017 as it's plotted, it's going to be something that's financially not manageable and also is a serious detriment to public health. Of course, with doctors prescribing more drugs, there become more drugs in circulation in society, and we create an environment that's conducive to misuse and abuse. According to the National Center for Health Statistics, last year, 46,471 deaths were a result of pharmaceutical drug abuse. And we can see that in terms of causes of accidental death, while several of the top causes have remained constant, drug-induced deaths have been steeply on the rise. And while this chart ends in 2007, in 2009, prescription drug abuse surpassed motor vehicle fatalities as the #1 cause of accidental death, according to the same Guardian article that I referenced before. In 2011, the Harvard Health blog reported that the #1 prescribed drug of all drugs prescribed by doctors in America was antidepressants. And it's not surprising, therefore, to see that, according to the Duke School of Nursing website, antidepressants are actually also the most advertised drug. So we can see there's likely a correlation between the drugs that are most prescribed and most consumed by Americans and the drugs that are the most advertised. So, on average, according to a study by the Journal of American Medicine in 2003, Americans see 9 pharmaceutical ads per day. So, just based on the sheer exposure that we have and the pervasiveness of pharmaceutical ads throughout society, it builds this mindset that drugs are the only legitimate treatment for illnesses, whereas we don't see ads that promote healthy lifestyles and eating that could be equally as beneficial to our health. So they use several marketing techniques to get the message across. One that's very common, especially in ads for antidepressants, is emotional appeal. This one is for foot pain, but we can see that in the beginning, the subject looks like is wearing dark clothes and is in a dark environment, is kind of hunched over and looks sad, and suddenly, now that she's taken this pill, she's frolicking through fields and it's sunny, and that gives readers or viewers the idea that if they take this pill, they can see the same results, when they may have a total absence of appropriate symptoms. It's also common for pharmaceutical companies to use celebrities in their advertising. Here we see Adam Levine promoting an ADHD drug, when really it's not particularly relevant for them to use celebrities when they should be just providing objective information and letting the facts speak for themselves. Something we've all probably experienced in watching TV is a pharmaceutical ad that says something along the lines of, do you struggle to get up in the morning, or do you barely find the motivation to get yourself through the day? And this presentation of ambiguous symptoms gives us something that's easy to apply to ourselves, and we start to convince ourselves that we have conditions that we don't. So, of course, every ad ends with something like, ask your doctor about blank. And as patients become convinced by marketing techniques that they have certain conditions and they're in need of a certain pharmaceutical, undue pressure is put on doctors when patients go in with a specific goal in mind to get a certain drug. So the techniques and pressures that pharmaceutical industries face is similar to any industry in the competitive market, but pharmaceutical industry is inherently different, and therefore I think the laws should be different as well. The government should restrict direct-to-consumer pharmaceutical advertising so that doctors can better do their jobs, and the American public can regard lifestyle and behavioral changes as a more legitimate treatment for various ailments. We saw this with cigarette advertising several years ago, that when the government restricted cigarette advertising, the negative effects on public health were reduced. The opposition may say that direct-to-consumer advertising facilitates communication between doctors and patients. And while this is true, I don't believe that the communication that comes about as a result of this advertising is quality and effective communication, and rather it weakens the relationship between doctor and patient. When a patient comes in trying to obtain a certain drug, it forces the doctor to find tension in maintaining professional clinical judgment and pleasing their patient. The opposition might also say that this brings about increased profits for pharmaceuticals, which means more money going towards research and development. But according to the World Health Organization, on average, only 1/6 of the budget is spent on research and development, while more than double that is spent on advertising. We can see in this chart where the orange circles represent the proportion that goes to marketing and the blue for research. So the effect we might think that it has on research really isn't as profound as we think. So in the end, their goal is to make a profit, not necessarily benefit public health. So the pharmaceutical methodology that's present in the U.S. today is really failing the American people, as we're still 41st in life expectancy, 13th in quality of life, and despite our booming industry for antidepressants, we're 150th in happiness. So at present, I think our faith is in drugs, and in order to develop a more holistic approach of medicine, direct-to-consumer pharmaceutical advertising should be banned.